What's going on, people? Anthony back again. It's another Saturday. Today we have a cocktail and a reception. We're at the Fenway Hotel in Dunedin, Florida. A special shout out to everybody who liked, commented, and subscribed on the last gig log. If you're interested in checking out that gig log and you haven't seen it yet, it will be posted at the end of this video. But here we go. All right, today I'm gonna be setting up in this room. There's where I'm setting up, right on the dance floor. Super important during a venue walkthrough to make sure wherever you're gonna set up has got ample power, and you know where the rest of the outlets are and who's on them. Now, when I did this venue walkthrough about 3 weeks before this reception, the first thing that the person I met when I got to the venue led with was that the building was built in the early 1900s. Now I could see that there has been some upgrades or updates. I obviously can't see the interior of the wall. So one of the questions I asked is, what amp breaker is that outlet gonna be on? I also asked, are all of these other outlets that are near it all on the same breaker? She obviously couldn't get me the answer, but I was able to leave her with those questions to ask either a maintenance man or a general manager or somebody, and she did come back to me, and those were on 20 amp breakers. Now, it's important to know what your setup runs. My setup says on paper that I'll probably push 14 amps with it running. Now, I've done testing, and I've never got above 8, and that's at pretty peak with the music pretty loud. But it's super important. If it says on paper 14, I don't want to mess with 15 if I don't have to, or I want to be conscious if I'm setting up that I might need an alternate location. That's why it's important to know, is there another outlet nearby that isn't on the same breaker as the one that you're using? And then if you're always worried like I am, then I always get an extra extension cord routed up, ready to go in the event that that happens. Another thing I found out during my venue walkthrough was that I was expected to do my load in and my unpack of the vehicle in the valet area up front. I was like, yo, that's crazy. That's a bad look on me if I'm unloading in the front. I want to be not seen at all. So I said, is there an alternate location that I can load in at? And they took me in the back, and I even asked them if I could go look at it. They took me in the back and they showed me this alternate location, which you see me traveling from in the video. Just a lot better load in back there. Plus the ramp was a lot more user friendly to get my big gear all the way into that little ballroom. Not only that, I was able to get a parking spot, negotiate with valet, and get it right next to the spot I was loading in. So if I left anything in the car, I didn't have to worry about going back to valet, getting my keys, trying to get in the car. So all super important things to go over when you're doing a venue walkthrough. All right, I did get a few DMs during one of my last videos of people asking what's inside my gig bags. It only makes sense. I don't know why, but I like watching those videos, so I'm gonna show you what exactly is in my gig bag. Here we go. Now, this isn't a gig bag like with my laptop and my headphones, but this is my prime audio bag that I would take with me to every single gig. This bag's by Wiggle and I found it on Amazon because I was using Gator bags for a long time, and I still stand by the quality of Gator bags, but the biggest thing for me was that they have those Velcro partitions in them that I always have a hard time getting to stay in place when you're moving the bag around. The cool thing about these bags is they had the stitched partitions. Now, I've had this bag for roughly about 7 months at this point, and you can see that the quality of this bag has not diminished in the least. Still looks brand spanking new. And these bags get fairly beat up in all the moving around that I do, the tossing, all that stuff. Now, you can see on the inside of this bag, it's fairly packed to the brim. And that's because I actually consolidated from my lighting bag into my audio bag. That's the reason why you see some of the stuff kind of stacked on top. But I actually have both colors. I have blue to represent my audio bag, and then I have the orange one to represent my lighting bag. I have the both lighting wireless transmitter. This is actually my first gig with this, and this is so that I can wirelessly get a signal out to all my uplights, and then my both lighting BPM spots. And then next I have sound switch, because how else are you going to control all of your lights without a controller? and then DMX cable for the wireless transmitter. I have a table cover, black table cover for my table. All right, so all these cables that are in the dividers, these are seamed in dividers. As you can see, they're not the Velcro dividers. Way better. But the way I keep it is on the left side of the bag are all my left sub and top cables. So if you pull them out, all my power cables are in the first one. So this says left ETX power cord, and this says left sub power cord, and it's got the little Y cable so that you can connect the top right into the sub. There's 1,000 videos out there. I think Joe Bunn just did one. My buddy Nathaniel or DJ Fox did one. I urge you to go check out their videos because this Y cable helps you on so many plugs. But these are in the left, and then on the left side are my XLRs. So I have one for the top, and it even says left. Well, this one's labeled wrong, so bad example. But that should be, well, no, I'm sorry. So yeah, that goes to the left sub, and then this one goes to the left. It says JBL because I used to have JBLs, but it goes to the left EV top speaker. And then these ones, of course, go from the sub to the mixer, the external mixer. The middle one is going to be my flat cables and my cable clips that go on my poles. You could see that in my last video. And then of course the right power, right XLR. Now in here are my booth cables, and then an extra extension cable if I need, and then extra XLRs just in case any of these go out. If you've seen me in all my videos thus far, you know I love backups. Now in the top, this is an RCF cable just in case I have to plug in my phone. That's the oh shit cable just in case my laptop goes out. This is in my cocktail area. I'll plug this into my eVerse 8, and this will go into my iPad or my iPhone to play music in the small cocktail areas. And then an extra dongle in here with extra clips just in case one breaks, and even extra microphone adapters if I need. So in this front pouch is I bring some tools, pretty universal, a Phillips and Allen key set. And one thing I found out about Allen key set, you can use the smallest Allen key and you can set the little wireless indicator on any of your lights. And then I bring wedges, just in case something isn't level, I can just slide these wedges underneath there. And most of this stuff I took from other people's gig logs. They recommended it, i.e. like a Nick Spinelli or a Bar, and I implemented it and they work like a champ. Even this next one. You get dust, you get cold spark dust all over your equipment. Use it, get yourself a paintbrush, dust off. You'd be shocked at how many times coordinators, planners come around to your equipment and they say, wow, that looks nice. All because you have a... And I think that's it. There's nothing in this pouch, nothing in this pouch. These are the only pouches. Actually, I lied. There's one more front pouch, and all the cable ties that I use are HOSA cable ties. I keep an extra stack just in case I run out of them. And then you notice all my cables have the ties. They're all labeled where they need to go, so I don't have to think about it. And that's the inside of my gig bag. Now, a lot of the stuff I'm sharing with you isn't new. Yes, I did take some of this information from other gig logs that I've seen, and I just want to pay it forward on my gig log. If it worked for them, it definitely worked for me. Anything that I'm sharing with you, I would not share if it did not work for me. And I'm a one-man op. I have nobody helping me 99% of the time, so I got to be able to cut time on my setup and my teardown. So that's the reason why I don't have a big cable tote. Everything is individually put in there so that when I'm setting up, I can wham, bam, just grab and go. But back to the rest of the gig log. Yeah, so do me a favor, drop a comment if there's something extra that you keep in your gig bag. I'd love to take a look at it. I'm always moving stuff around depending on the type of gigs that I have, but that's what's inside mine. Here we go. All right, tonight it's just a real easy one. It's just one speaker pole, one eVerse 8. That's the all-weather cover. I noticed when I put the all-weather cover on it, even in the sunlight conditions, because the sun is literally beaming right on it. I'll show you this patio real quick. You don't see almost any shade except for underneath those little awnings. So those all-weather covers, man, they really keep the speaker cool itself. All I'm doing is I'm gonna put an iPad with a playlist on it that the couple wanted right on the inside of this zipper. And it's just gonna play the music for the hour before the reception starts. Of course, I'm set up in the reception area, but it's super important when you do a venue walkthrough. I knew to bring a powered speaker because there's an outlet right next to my speaker, right there. That outlet, when I did my venue walkthrough, the lady said that it tripped a few times, but I have a feeling that they were running cables to a long spot way out in this courtyard. You can see somewhat behind me, and because they were doing that, they were probably using the wrong gauge extension cords, and they kept tripping a circuit breaker on there. So it's super important that you know that stuff and you do venue walkthroughs. And that's it. Here we go. We have cocktail hour start. We're about 50 minutes out from reception start, so it's coming fast. The music's playing. We have an acoustic playlist that the bride and groom were interested in listening to during their cocktail hour, but it's playing. And then once we start intros, we'll go through the dances, start dinner, and then I'll go out and pack up that speaker pole, and that scrim. Here we go, let's get it. Tired of hearing me say venue walkthrough yet? Well, at this point in the gig log, we're about to start the reception. And one of the ways to start the reception is by doing intros. Now, if you've seen my last gig log, which will also be available at the end of this video, then you know I'm leaving the ballroom right now to go get the bridal party set up and the bride and groom. Not only that, most importantly, I'm gonna get them amped and pumped up to come into their reception. I'm going to also attempt to try to get the crowd even more pumped up. I think you'll see that they're a lot more pumped up in this video. And I'm going to try to do better on my intros this time. I'm not a master at this yet. I'm a work in progress, but I love doing it. My couples love me getting the enthusiasm and getting them pumped up. So here we go.
You can hear the sound of my voice. Somebody say, yeah. If you guys are ready to have a good time tonight, somebody say, oh yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Anthony, your MC and DJ for this evening, and welcome to the beautiful Fenway Hotel in Dunedin, Florida. Now, tonight we're going to celebrate love, so I need everybody's assistance as we announce our bridal party to come in here to make as much noise as you can possibly make. Are you guys ready? All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, our first groomsmen. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Nate. And I need you to keep that energy. Make some noise for Genesis. And ladies and gentlemen, our next groomsman, Mason. Tell that you guys are ready to have a good time tonight, but this is what I need everybody to do. If you are able, please stand up. Now, when I announce our newly married bride and groom, I need you to make as much noise where they can hear us in Tampa. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for the newly married Marissa and Drew Swango!
And there's the intro for you. A lot of people have certain verbal pauses when they're doing public speaking. Mine is probably clearly saying ladies and gentlemen 37 times, but I appreciate you guys, giving me the boost of confidence in the comments. I do have to get better. I'm not a master at this by any stretch of the imagination, but I do feel like that we capitalized on getting the crowd amped, getting the couple amped. I wanted them to feel welcome when they walked into this reception. I feel like that we capitalized on that. I appreciate you guys for letting me be vulnerable and showing you my weak spots in this. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of the gig log. Here we go. All right, intros are done. We've just started dinner. They're passing out the salads now. Everybody's hitting the bar. I can't wait to show you how the rest of the night goes. Let's get it. And that's the end of this gig log. I appreciate you if you're still watching up to this point. It was a good night for the bride and groom. At the end of this, that's all that matters, is that we executed exactly what they wanted and we filled their vision, hence the 5-star review. If you haven't seen my other gig log, go ahead and check that out. It's on the screen somewhere, or go to my DJ page on YouTube. I got a whole bunch of quick ones. I haven't been the greatest in filming long clips because I'm always doing it for social media, but check them out, subscribe, like. Can't wait to see you on the next one. Here we go.